Hey guys, Brad Danger here, and I need to tell you something that the algorithm, the dealerships, and anybody trying to sell you a turbocharged 4-cylinder crossover does not want you to know. There are V8 cars, real V8 cars, rear-wheel drive that make your neighbors actually come outside to look. Genuinely fast V8 cars sitting on Facebook Marketplace right now for under 15, 10, 5,000 bucks. Not one, not two, 5 of them. And I'm not going to give you a list and bounce. That is not what we do here at Ideal. For every car on this list, I'm going to tell you the exact year to hunt for, the one thing that is going to break on it so you can set a budget up for it before it ruins your weekend, and where to spend the first $1,000 to get the most performance out of your money. Because knowing what to buy is only half the game. Knowing what you're actually buying into, that is how you win. Like, subscribe, and, well, get entered to win this Mark V Supra or my Shelby GT350 with a Voodoo V8 and plus $100,000 in cold hard cash. I've linked to it all in the pinned first comment, and let's go. Number 5. Ford Crown Victoria Police Interceptor, 2003 to 2011. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking grandma's car, airport taxi, speed trap on the highway, and I'm telling you right now, you are sleeping, dangerously sleeping, because the P71 Crown Victoria Police Interceptor is one of the best kept secrets in cheap V8 culture, and the community that figured this out built an entire underground scene around it. Here's what you actually get: a 4.6 liter modular V8, rear-wheel drive, a Panther platform chassis that Ford engineered to handle high-speed pursuits, hard braking, and running all day at elevated RPM without cooking itself. These things were running 600,000 miles in fleet service while other cars were getting crushed. The Police Interceptor version has an upgraded cooling system, an external transmission cooler, a bigger sway bar, and stiffer springs straight from the factory because Ford built it to chase people, not deliver mail, and you can buy one for $3,000 to $5,000. That is not a typo. Golden years, 2003 to 2011, specifically 2006 and newer, which got the Marauder airbox for a little extra breathing. Avoid anything pre-2003. Those had the older, weaker non-PI heads. What's going to break? The rear axle seals leak. Almost all of them at this age. It's not catastrophic, it's just the thing. Also, budget for rear brake hoses. They deteriorate and cause one-sided drag. Inspect them before you drive it hard. First $1,000, start with a catback exhaust and delete the mid-muffler. This car sounds unreal when you uncork it. And nobody expects that sound coming out of a Crown Vic, and it is one of the greatest moments in cheap car ownership. Then put the rest toward gears. The stock 3.27 rear end ratio kills acceleration. Swap to 3.55S and the car wakes up like a different animal. You'll be surprised by your own car every time you get on it. Wait. Don't skip this. A Mark V Supra or a Shelby GT350 plus cash. One is boosted, one screams to redline. Click the pinned comment down below and grab 100 free entries before it ends. Good skill. Number 4, Dodge Charger RT 2011 to 2014. Now we're cooking because the Charger RT is a 4-door muscle car. Not a muscle car experience, not a muscle car vibe, an actual legitimate 370 horsepower, 5.7 liter Hemi muscle car that seats 5 people and has a trunk you could live in. These things are enormous fun, and they're starting to dip into the under 15 grand range if you shop up right. The Hemi in these cars is the same engine that powered Ram trucks and police pursuit vehicles for years. It is, at its core, a durable American V8 with a massive aftermarket, parts everywhere, and a community that will help you fix anything. The 2011 refresh gave it sharper exterior styling, better interior tech, and cleaned up a lot of the first generation gremlins that haunted 2006 to 2008 Chargers. 5.7 in the 2011 and later cars is genuinely sorted out. Golden years, 2011 to 2014. The 2015 facelift is nice, but prices jump. The 2009 to 2010 are also good, but this window is the sweet spot for value right now. What's gonna break? The Hemi tick. This is the thing you will read about on every forum, and it is real. AFM lifter failure is a known issue on these engines. When you hear a tick that deepens into a knock, that's the AFM system eating itself. The fix is a DOD delete, eliminating the cylinder deactivation system entirely, and it is money very well spent on any high mileage example. Also, Front ball joints and tie rods wear fast on these cars. Check them before you buy, budget for them if they're due. First $1,000, delete the DOD system if the previous owner hasn't already. This alone will save you from a much more expensive conversation later. Anything left over goes to a cold air intake and a tune. The Hemi responds really well to tuning, and you'll feel it immediately in throttle response and mid-range pull. The Charger doesn't need to be flashy. It already looks like a threat. Number 3, Cadillac CTS-V, first generation, 2004 to 2007. Here's where I get to watch the comment section have an identity crisis, because the first gen CTS-V came from the factory with a Corvette engine, the LS6, 5.7 liters, 400 horsepower, bolted into a sports sedan with Brembo brakes and a 6-speed manual transmission. Cadillac built a proper driver's car, a real one. And because almost nobody bought it in the numbers it deserved, and because Cadillac isn't a brand that gets the enthusiast community hyped, you can find first gen CTS-Vs for 10 to 14 grand right now. That is a crime, a literal automotive crime. This car won comparison tests against BMW M5s when it was new. The LS6 is one of the greatest naturally aspirated V8s ever produced, makes reliable power, and the aftermarket for it is the entire LS swap universe, which means everything. And the interior is proper Cadillac, real leather, real presence, a car that feels expensive because it was expensive. Golden years, any 2004 to 2007. The 2006 and 2007 cars are slightly more refined. All of them are good. All of them have the LS6. What's gonna break? The differential. The rear differential in first-gen CTS-Vs is genuinely the Achilles heel. Under hard driving, especially launches, they can fail, and the replacement is not cheap. Inspect it for leaks and noise before you buy. Also, the manual transmission slave cylinder is internal, meaning if it fails, the whole transmission has to come out. It's not a common failure, but it's worth knowing. First $1,000, headers and a tune. The LS6 loves headers more than almost any other modification, and you will hear the difference, feel the difference, and your neighbors will definitely feel the difference at 7A. Get a proper dyno tune to match, and you are picking up real, honest power for not a lot of money. This is a $10,000 car that drives like a $40,000 car. That's the whole pitch. Number 2, the Pontiac G8 GT, 2008 to 2009. 2 years. Pontiac only made the G8 GT for 2 years before GM killed Pontiac, and one of the greatest budget performance sedans ever made disappeared from showrooms forever. And that's actually part of why this car is so interesting right now, because prices are climbing and the people who know. The G8 GT came with a 6.0 liter LS2, base V8 producing 361 horsepower, rear wheel drive, 6-speed automatic that shifts properly. Chassis tuned in Australia by Holden engineers who understood how to make a car handle. This thing is planted, balanced, and fast in a way that catches people completely off guard because it looks like a generic midsize sedan and moves like something that shouldn't be in the same parking lot as it. It has aged extremely well. The aftermarket is everything the LS platform offers, which is infinite, and the community around these cars is passionate and knowledgeable. Golden years, 2008 or 2009, only 2 years exist, so pick the cleanest, lowest mileage example you can find. The 2009 models had some minor refinements. What's gonna break? The active fuel management system, the DOD lifters. Same story as the Hemi, different platform. AFM lifter tick followed by knock is the G8 GT's most documented issue. Do the DOD delete. Also, lower control arms wear and can cause a clunk over bumps. Super common, pretty inexpensive to address, but check for it before you buy. First $1,000, intake and a tune. A cold air intake and a proper tune on the G8 GT is genuinely one of the best dollar per horsepower moves in the cheap performance world. Owners report 20 to 30 wheel horsepower from this combo alone, with improved throttle response throughout the entire rev range. Then delete the mid muffler. The 6.0 sounds absolutely violent when you let it breathe. Violent in the best possible way. And the number 1 car on this list, the one that's going to spark arguments I genuinely want to have, is the Chevrolet SS Sedan, 2014 to 2017. Yes, it's at the top of the budget. Yes, you're going to be looking hard to find a clean one under 15 grand, but it exists. And when you find it, here's what you're actually buying. A 6.2 liter LS3 V8, 415 horsepower rear wheel drive, 6-speed manual or automatic magnetic ride control suspension, Brembo brakes, and a car that looks so genuinely normal that almost nobody on the road knows what it is or what it can do. This is the closest thing to a factory sleeper that any American automaker ever built at a mainstream mainstream price point. This is the spiritual successor to the G8. Same Australian Holden bones, evolved and refined, the LS3 is one of the most proven, most modifiable, most beloved V8s in automotive history. The aftermarket support is essentially unlimited, and the people who have figured out what these cars are have been quietly buying them up for years. Prices are not going down. Find one now. Golden years, all of them. 2014 to 2017. The 2016 and 2017 cars got some small refinements, including Apple CarPlay. But any year's the right year. What's going to break? Not much. Genuinely, the SS has a solid reliability record. Watch for rear differential fluid. These need it changed more regularly under spirited driving than most owners bother. Also, inspect the magnetic ride control shocks. Replacements are expensive, and the system is not cheap to fix if sensors fail. First, $1,000. Tune and exhaust. The LS3 is already making real power, but it responds to tuning immediately. Cite especially throttle calibration, which is conservative from the factory. Add a catback exhaust, and you have a car that sounds like it belongs at a racetrack, costs 12 grand, and parks next to Camaros at Cars and Coffee, making every single one of them uncomfortable. That's the goal. That's always the goal. Okay, 5 cars, 5 V8s, that's like 1,000 cylinders, and 5 things that are going to break. 5 places to spend your first $1,000, all of them for under $15,000 if you're patient and you actually hunt instead of clicking the first listing that you see. And look, the whole point here isn't just cheap cars. The point is that every one of these machines is a platform, something that you can build on, something that, well, you can learn from, something that costs less than 1 year of payments on a crossover nobody will care about in 5 years and teaches you more about cars, performance, and buying smart than any YouTube channel except Ideal could. So tell me in the comments down below, which one are you buying? Because I already know which one I'm looking at, and it's the one with the Corvette engine and a Cadillac badge that nobody actually respects yet. Yes, and it comes with a manual. And remember to go to winthisidealcar.com to get entered to win this Mark V Supra or that V8 Shelby GT350. Plus, we're giving away $100,000 in cold hard cash. I've linked to it, days left. And like, subscribe, turn on that notification bell. Check out some of these Ideal vids over here. I'm Brad Danger. This is Ideal, and promise me one thing: keep living the Ideal lifestyle.